Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa. Today I'm going to be talking about the 23 books that I want to read in 2023. Hey guys, before we get started, I want to ask you all, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, could you please do that? I would really appreciate it. I'm really trying to grow my channel. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe. I don't have a set schedule, but I really want to, hang out with y'all. So make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video, and like this video if you like it. Yeah, YouTube-y stuff. Okay, hey guys, how's it going? So I have Ranger here. He of course wants to play because every time I sit down to film a video, he thinks it's playtime, even though he was just sleeping and being a good boy. And now you're gonna be a little pesters. Look at it. So you might see his ears pop in here or there, or the camera might get knocked down. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, I'm just gonna get straight into this because I don't want this to be a long video. I need to, I've been filming a few things today. I need to wrap it up and go to bed. So there is no rhyme or reason, what order or anything of these books. These are just 23 books that I really want to get read this year. Some of these books are books that I've already started and like softy enough, so like just never finished for whatever reason. I have a mixture of fiction, YA, adult, nonfiction, all sorts of genres, all ranges of things. These are just books that I was looking at my shelves and I was like, yep, want to read those. I'm not reading any of them for anything particular, so it's not like it matters. It's just I want to read books, and these are the books I want to read. Okay, so let's get into it. First book, you guys, I have is City of Bones. This is The Mortal Instruments Book 1 by Cassandra Clare. As you can see, I did start this at some point. I think I started reading this like 3 or 4 years ago. Wow, I'm like at least a third of the way through. I don't know, I'm on page 202. So I'm on 202 of 485. So yeah, I'm like almost halfway through. Don't know why I put this down, I just did. But I keep needing to pick it up. I have the entire series of this series anyways, the Mortal Instrument series. So I just need to read them. I never really read them, or I never heard about these when I was younger. When did these come out even? I think this was after Twilight. Like I was definitely the Twilight phase. Like I was reading Twilight when Twilight was being released. Yeah, 2007. So I graduated in 2007. So that's probably why I don't really know of this, because when I went to college, I was doing other things besides reading books. So anyways, I should probably tell y'all what it's about. For what I know, it's a series, like this crazy huge world. I know she just came out with like the third and final in her latest series, but they're all like Shadowhunter worlds. I think she's only written like one book ever that's not within this world. Crazy. Anyway, Shadowhunters, basically they kill demons and things. Yeah, and they basically like keep supernatural creatures in line. And this girl, I guess, ends up seeing a demon or something, and she finds out that she's actually a Shadowhunter. I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead. I want to read this year. Finally continue this book, and if I like it, I will continue with the series. If not, I will just get rid of the entire series, because I don't want, these books taking up any more room on my shelf if I don't like them. So hopefully I'll get this read this year. So guys, I have this pile of books next to me. I'm literally just grabbing them. Like I said, there is no rhyme or reason to this. The next book I have, book 2, is 8033 by Ted Dekker. I read 8030 when it first came out, which was, my goodness, quite a few years ago now, I think. Oh, this came out in 2015. So, no way it's been that long. I don't know. But anyways, I read the first book. It's 8030 and 8033. It takes place in the year that it says, around the time of Jesus. This is set in the Middle East. It's like a historical fiction, biblical fiction, kind of. Yeah, really good story about this girl, a woman who was like a princess, I think, and she like her kingdom gets overthrown, and she goes on a journey to Jerusalem and to meet Jesus, and all sorts of stuff happens. And I need to reread the first book to like remember, because it's been so long. But I want to eventually get to this year so I can finish it and just be done with it, so I know that I finally finished the series, because yeah, I've been needing to read it for too long. And it's beautiful. I love this book. It looks really pretty on my shelves, but I want to move it to the red shelf and not the to read shelf. So yeah, that's book 2. Book 3, All Eyes on Her by L.E. Flynn. This came out a couple years ago. This was super hyped. I keep checking this out from the library and having to return it because it's due, and then I keep checking it out again because I keep meaning to read this and I just never do. This is a YA thriller, and it's really interesting the way the story is told, because it's about this girl and this boy that go into the woods. The girl carried a picnic basket. The boy wore bright yellow running shoes. The girl found her way out. The boy never did. And apparently this is a story of what happened, told from everybody's perspective, but the actual victim, or is she victim? I don't know, but the actual girl. Everyone thinks they know what happened. Some say Tabby pushed him off the cliff. She didn't even like hiking. She was jealous. She had more than her share of demons. Others think he fell accidentally. She loved Mark. She would never hurt him, even if he'd hurt her. What's the real story? All Eyes on Her is told from the perspective of everyone but Tabby herself, as the people in her life string together the events that led Tabby to that cliff. Her best friend, her sister, her enemy, her ex-boyfriend, because everybody thinks they know a girl better than she knows herself. What do you think the truth is? So like, is that not super interesting? A murder mystery told by everybody but the person who was there. I just thought the premise sounded amazing, and like I said, it was hyped a while ago. It's been on my library list. Like I said, I keep checking it out over and over again. So I just need to stink and read this book already. Book number 4 is actually one that I want to buddy read the sequel with Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails this year, so I need to read book 1, and that is A House of Dark Shadows by Robert Lapalio. This is like a haunted house Christian horror, maybe? It's like a YA. This 15-year-old boy moves to LA, or from LA to a small town, and the house that he moves into has weird things happening. He thinks it's haunted. It's a series, so I need to read book 2 because she has I need to read book 1 because she has book 2. And then if I like it, I'll pick up book 2 and buddy read that with her. I think that's the plan anyways. So yes, this one needs to be read this year. Book 5, Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. I binge read Shadow and Bone and Seas and Storm. Absolutely loved them. Super nostalgic for me, even though I've never read these before. It's just like the time they came out. It just reminded me of the type of books I was reading in high school. Adored them. Absolutely adored them. Watched season 1 of the TV show and didn't pick up the third one. I have a problem. You guys will see if when I do bookshelf tours, I do not like to finish series. I will read all of the books up to the last one because I don't like to finish series. It's a problem I have no matter how much I absolutely adore the series. There's 2 things I don't want it to end, and also I'm afraid that it's gonna end badly. So I just don't ever finish them. Yeah, it's a thing, it's a problem. But Ruin and Rising, I really want to read this, finish out the story of the Grishaverse, find out what the heck happens, and then I can move on. I've read Six of Crows, but I need to reread it and then move on to the other books in here. Leigh Bardugo, you guys, is a brilliant author. I love her writing. Every book I've read by her has been a 4.5 to 5 star. So she very well may be a favorite author. I don't know. But I need to finish out this trilogy and find out. Book 6 is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is another one that was super hyped on BookTube. You'll see also a pattern here. I don't read hyped books. Not because I don't want to. It's just I don't have the money to go out and buy books brand new. Majority of my books that I have are secondhand or gifts or whatever. So I read from the library a lot. And usually super hyped new releases take forever to get in from the library. So I'm usually a couple years behind on the hype. Anyways, the Scythe, I know this is still popular. This is a YA sci-fi dystopian type of world where basically it's utopia. People live forever. There is no death. But because they need to control the population, they have these Scythes who are obviously tasked on killing people because otherwise we will literally run out of space. I don't know. But I think this is about 3 Scythe apprentices, and it's kind of their story. So I do really want to read this and see if I like the book and see if I want to continue with the series as well. Book 7, The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is the Owl Crate exclusive edition. I was so stoked when I got this. This was 100% a, what's the word I'm trying to think of? 100% a most anticipated book of the year for last year. And I just never read it yet, so I really want to read it this year and see if I like this as well. I've heard some mixed reviews about it, but like I said, Bone Houses was freaking amazing. I'm curious to see if there's any disability rep in here because Bone Houses had it, and it was just done so perfectly. It was amazing. So this one is, oh, once upon a time, the kingdoms of Wales were rife with magic and conflict. The 18-year-old Mare is well acquainted with both. As the last living water diviner, she can manipulate water with magic, and it's a skill many would kill to possess. She's been running from the prince who bound her to her service, and then I guess the old handler returns with a proposition to use her powers to bring down the very prince that abused her. So all I know about this is there is a corgi. There's like an animal companion. It's a corgi, and it may or may not be a spy. So like, that's all I need to know. I just am so excited. So I can't wait to get this one read this year. And it's a YA fantasy. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, YA fantasy. Book number 8, Oystress by Nadine Barnes-Bandis. This was a gift from the lovely Chrissie from Chrissie's Purple Library. If y'all have not checked her out, go check her out. She has the best editing in her videos. Like her videos, she just is hilarious and I love her so much. This is a Christian fantasy, YA fantasy about this woman who is a Oystress, which her tears grant wishes. She didn't ask to be the Oystress. He can stop time with the snap of his fingers. Their quest can end only one way, with her death. So it's this woman who can grant wishes with her tears. She's a curse put on her where her next tear she sheds will kill her. And this guy comes to her for help and wants to gain a wish from her, but he doesn't know, obviously, that it'll kill her. It's like, I think it's kind of like a adventure travel fantasy, but I've heard nothing but great things about this. It was an anticipated release, and yep, I'm going to get to it this year, hopefully. Book number 9, Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I have never read The Secret Garden. I watched the movie when I was a kid, and I just would really like to read this. I'm not the biggest classics reader, so I don't know how I'll feel about this book, but isn't this edition gorgeous? This was the Owl Crate exclusive edition, where they just had this beautiful illustrated paperbacks. They also had Frankenstein and Pride and Prejudice. I've read both of those, so I would like to read this one to complete that, have them all 3 on my shelves next to each other, looking all pretty. It was written in 1911. Honestly, I don't even really remember what it's about. I think it's about an orphan girl or something like that. She finds like a secret garden. Yeah, it's a classic. That's all I know. Hopefully I will get it read this year. Next book I have is one that, again, I have started it and didn't finish it. I DNF'd it. I think I think my bookmark fell out. I'm pretty sure I was at least a third of the way through this, but that is Another Woman's Daughter by Fiona Suzman. The reason I put this down was because it's literary fiction. It's kind of a heavy topic, and I was reading this around the time that my dog passed away, Scooter. He died very suddenly, and it was very traumatizing. And this has like heavy emotions, and I just couldn't handle it emotionally at the time. But that was almost 4 years ago now, and I think I'm ready to try it again. This doesn't deal with pet death or anything. It was just, in general, it was just heavy emotions, and I was reading it like 2 months after he passed, and I'm like, I can't. So I had to put it down, but I was really liking it. This is about a woman from South Africa, a Black woman, who allows her daughter to be taken in by a white family. They lived in South Africa. They're British, or, English family. And during the war of the civil, I don't know much about that history, but it was like during the war, the apartheid or whatever, they were going back to England, and this woman was like their maid, and they said they could take her daughter and like teach her and have her go to school and everything. Yeah, it was 1960s Johannesburg. They asked to adopt the daughter, and she lets her go because she feels like it'd be much safer and she get a better education and all that stuff. And it's kind of like following her story. And then you also see the daughter side of things, where she goes to England and is being raised by this family that she doesn't really know, and dealing with the racism and everything of the time, and trying to learn this different culture from what she grew up with, and feeling the abandonment of her mother, and like, why did my mom let me go? And then on the other side, you have the mom who is dealing with the loss of her child, and now like, did I make the right decision? All that kind of stuff. It's just this really heavy mother-daughter, child loss, adoption, race. It's just really heavy. It's beautiful though from when I was reading it. Yeah, I need to get back to this and actually finish it this year, because like I said, I think I'm like a third of the way or 2/3 of the way through, so it wouldn't take much for me to finish it, but this is one that I definitely want to get to. Am I on book 11? I don't even know anymore. I'm gonna start counting. Next book, Souls of Lost Lake by Jamie Jo Wright. Oh my gosh, I'm dripping everything. I'm dropping everything. This was also gifted to me by Chrissie, actually, so I'm gonna want to read both of the books that she gifted me this year. To save the innocent, they must face an insidious evil. So Jamie Jo Wright always does historical fiction, dual timeline, questionably paranormal, where it's like ghosts, but is it really ghosts? Yeah, Christian fiction. I love her. She's one of my favorite authors. This one specifically takes place in Wisconsin. It's like present day and then in 1930s. Present day, this girl goes missing and in the woods, and this lady is basically trying to find her, and she stumbles upon the cabin of the Coons family, who there's like this old legend in the woods of this young girl who murdered her entire family, and like her spirit is thought to still haunt the woods. She finds their cabin and decides to kind of like figure out what happened, and while she's trying to find this other girl, and then you switch back to the 30s, which was following this girl who was said to have killed her family. Basically, she was found covered in blood, carrying an axe, and have no memory of what happened. So the townspeople kind of think that like she did it, and it's kind of following their stories as they kind of parallel each other and how they interweave, and it just sounds really good. It sounds spooky. Like all of her books are very not gothic, but like borderline on horror, but not quite. They're just kind of like spooky. Like they got that vibe. Like, I mean, look at the cover. Right, so I'm actually reading this month in February. It's on my TBR. I'm supposed to be, so hopefully I will get this one read, and then that'll be book 1 off the 23 for the year that I need to read. After that, I have The Butcher and the Wren. This is by Elena Urquhart. She is a co-host of the podcast Morbid, which is a really amazing true crime podcast that I love. It's my favorite one, and she wrote this book really small, but yeah, it's her book that she's been working on forever, and she's always talking about it in the podcast, and it was finally released last year. It was an mostly anticipated release of last year. I didn't read any of my most anticipated releases from last year, so maybe I'll get to them this year. This is basically about a serial killer, and he is being hunted by a forensic psychiatrist, pathologist. Elena actually is a autopsy technician in real life. And like I said, she's co-host of Morbid, which is a true crime podcast. So I'm really excited to read this. Like, this is definitely top of the list of what I need to read this year. Then I have Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant. This is another one that I have started, not finished, because I've had to return the audiobook back to the library. I'm reading along physically with the audiobook. This is basically Killer Mermaids in the Mariana Trench. Okay, so the like prequel book, Fear the Drowning Deep, was my second most favorite book of last year. Amazing. It was a novella, and I don't read novellas, so like it was amazing. It was about this ship that goes out to make this fake documentary, this mockumentary about mermaids. Well, they end up finding the real things there, and pretty much the entire crew disappears, and no one knows what happens to them. This is the follow-up to that a couple years later, where they're sending more people out to try and figure out what happened and kind of prove that the mermaids really are real, because they got footage back and people are saying, oh, it's a hoax or whatever. But yeah, it's about the crew that goes to find out what happened. And so far, it's really great, and I'm loving it, and I cannot wait to finish it. Yeah, okay, Into the Drowning Deep, can't wait. Then we have a book that could potentially be my favorite book of all time. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there right now. This is Under or Over the Edge by Brandon Collins. This is a medical thriller about Lyme disease, Christian medical thriller about Lyme disease. I have Lyme disease. Need I say more? Let me just read it back to you. Okay, I'm just read it back to you. Janessa McNeil's life looks perfect. Her husband, Dr. Brock McNeil, is a renowned researcher and professor at Stanford University's Department of Medicine. They have a beautiful home, and they can give their daughter everything she needs. Theirs is a life others envy, but nothing is as it seems. Forces are at work that will shatter everything. Janessa's marriage, her way of life, even her safety. For her husband's highly respected assertion that chronic Lyme disease doesn't exist has done more than inform medical insurance professionals. It has ruined lives, one man's life in particular. Now it's time to make Dr. Brock McNeil face the truth, to make him see the devastation Lyme disease causes up close and personal. And this time, this bitter man has found the perfect tool to exact his revenge, Janessa and her daughter. Yeah, I think this is going to be amazing. And I actually have started this one as well. you'll find that trend throughout here. But it's one that I know I'm gonna have to annotate the heck out of. So I just need to find time to like sit down and read it and like write in it. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you guys I'm so excited for this one. Oh, by the way, it's Own Voices. The author herself has Lyme disease. So like, hello. Yes. Okay. Another book that I have started, not finished. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's a problem. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Y'all, I am on page 259 out of 387. Like, I have about just over 100 pages left to go. Why have I not finished this? I don't know. I put it down for some reason and didn't pick it up. Don't ask me why. I'm loving this. I'm loving it. It's great. This is about Pip, who is a high school senior, and her senior project is she's doing it on a on a murder-suicide that happened in her town. She doesn't believe that basically the boyfriend killed his girlfriend and killed himself. She doesn't believe that's really what happened. She thinks that the boyfriend is innocent. And so she's trying to prove it through her capstone project or her senior project, whatever you want to call it. It's great. It's so good. This is totally something that like reminds me of like me at that age. Like I was very, very ill when I was in high school, so I never ended up doing a senior project or anything like that because I went to alternative school, did my health, all this stuff. But legitimately, if I came from a small town and there was a murder like this had happened and I was healthy, this would have been me. This would have been my senior project. Like no freaking joke. So yeah, I love it so much. I need to continue it and finish it this year. Next up, Mark of the Lion by Susanna Arendt. I can't roll my R's. Aruda. Yes. This is a Jade Del Cameron mystery. This is a book 1, and this, I believe that the author is a zookeeper turned science teacher. Yes, zookeeper turned science teacher and writer. So amazing. Those of you who don't know, I actually used to volunteer at the zoo all throughout my middle school and high school career. I volunteered at the zoo every single summer and sometimes during the school year as well. And my dream when I was a kid was to be a zoo veterinarian. So yes, this whole series it just sounds amazing. And every single book in the series has like something to do with an animal. The title and on the picture, like look at the artwork. I love it so much. This is another one I'm just gonna read to you really quickly. In 1919, when most women only dream of adventure, Jade Del Cameron lives it. After driving an ambulance along the front lines in the Great War, Jade can fire a rifle with deadly precision. Oh my gosh, precision. She may look like a pinup, but she's smart and tough and doesn't shy away from a challenge. So when she agrees to fulfill a fighter pilot's dying wish that she investigate the death of his father and track down his half-brother, she sets off for the wilds of colonial Africa, never expecting to become involved in murder. Rich with mystery and adventure, Mark of the Lion introduces a bold new heroine years ahead of her time and explores the elusive heart of a compelling and exotic world. And then the next book is Stalking Ivory, and then you have The Serpent's Daughter, and I know there's like a crocodile one too. So you guys, I'm so excited to read this. I love animals. I love adventure. This sounds like Tomb Raider almost, like this like total, bad, woman who is like, just, I don't know, it sounds so much fun. And it's written by a zookeeper, so I have a feeling that the like animal and the biology parts will be like true to life, and it makes me really happy. I'm hoping there's like biology stuff in here, because that would make me very happy. And so we have a book that I have put on my to be read list quite a few times and just never got around to it for some reason. And my dog decided to gnaw on it, a few months ago when he was a bit of a younger pup. Thankfully, I think he's outgrown that stage, knock on wood, but he did chew up a couple of my books, and this was one of them. But it's still readable. And that's The Day a Human Prince by B. Kristen McMichael. This is book 1 of the Day Human trilogy. See, the dog. But thankfully, he only got the spine, and it's still like together. So he didn't affect any of the words on the inside. It's still perfectly readable. This one is a vampire, YA vampire story. I've had this book on my shelves for a long time. Let me see. I won it in a Goodreads giveaway. Yeah, 2014. I don't know if that's like when I actually got the book, but this was published in 2014. So it's like older YA, it might be a bit campy, might be a bit cheesy, I don't know. Devin Alexander grew up as the only day human in a world surrounded by night humans who drank blood, sometimes his blood. He spent his life training towards one goal, the protection of one of those blood drinkers, Ariana Grace. But what is he supposed to do when that blue-eyed girl of the legends doesn't need him anymore? What does his life mean? How is the guy supposed to move on when the girl he has yearned over for a decade has chosen someone else? Very much giving me Twilight, Vampire Diaries type of vibes, but I love that stuff. I was a sucker for that when I was a kid, or like teenager, right? So, and I'm not gonna lie, like into my 20s, I was pretty into that as well. So, but I do want to pick it up and see if I like it because it's been on my shelf for so long. I just need to read it this year, hopefully. I think all that I have left are nonfictions. It's just how they were piled next to me. So the first nonfiction, you guys have heard me talk about this one multiple times, and I'm still so ashamed that I've never gotten around to it. That's Hostage to the Devil by Malachi Martin. Another one my dog chewed up. Unfortunately, this is a library book, so when I return it, I have to let them know that the dog decided to gnaw on the book. Funny story, I first checked out this book, wanted to read it like literally over 10 years ago because my first dog, Scooter, who passed away, he was 10 when he passed away, and he passed away 3.5 years ago. He chewed up the library book. Not this one, obviously, this is a different copy, but there was another copy that I had, and he chewed it up. But he chewed it like here. So thankfully they were very sweet. They did not make, I was willing to pay for it. And they're like, first offense, it happens. You know, he was a puppy, he was only a couple months old. So they didn't make me pay for it, thankfully, but I felt really bad. And then I get it again years later with my new puppy. He eats it. I don't know what it is about this book that these dogs like, but obviously they're saying it's good, so I should read it. Anyways, this is The Possession and Exorcism of 5 Contemporary Americans, nonfiction, just what it says. It's by a theologian. He is like the premier authority on the Roman Catholic Church, and it follows exorcists and exorcisms in the United States. Basically self-explanatory. I've talked about it plenty of times. I will hopefully read it this year, but it's very, I mean, look at the writing in this, guys. It's super dense. So we'll see if I ever get around to it. Next up, another library book that I have, but one I would like to read is Inheriting Clutter. This is by Julie Hall. How to Calm the Chaos Your Parents Leave Behind. This is something book for every adult child. I think it's a must-have book is what it says, but the stickers in the way. Basically, it's just what it says. Every day, thousands of adult children become middle-aged orphans when their elderly parents passed away, leaving behind more than just memories. Thankfully, both my parents are still alive and will hopefully be with me for quite a few more years to come. But this is something that I really have been thinking about lately. My grandpa and grandma, actually both of them, so my mom's dad passed away in 2021. My grandma, my mom's mom, just passed away in December of 2022. And their house, you guys, he was 89 and she literally passed on her 90th birthday. So think of 90 years worth of stuff in their home. And they have a huge, beautiful home, but it is just, she kept everything. They kept everything. And so it's like trying to help my mom and my aunts and uncles clear it out, go through it, get ready for the estate sale, figure out what's important, what's not important. It's insane. It's insane. I come from a family of hoarders. My boyfriend, unfortunately, also has hoarders in his family. So this is something that I'm really aware of, and within myself too, trying to not be clutter and not keep a lot of things. So I'm really interested in reading this book. I think this will be a really good one. It's really gonna hit home for me, even though it's not my parent, it's my grandparent, but I'm watching my mother deal with this and then thinking of, oh my gosh, what are my parents leaving behind for me when the time comes? And like, if I ever have children, what am I going to be leaving behind for them? You know, it's this whole thing. So I'm really excited to read this. This is definitely going to be a good one that I need to take my time with and study it. Like, at least I hope it is anyways, right? But I hope it is. Okay, next up, book number 20. We're almost there. Book 20 that I want to read in the year 2023 is Inside of a Dog, What Dogs See, Smell, and Know by Alexandra Horowitz. This is very much about kind of what it says, right? Let's see. The answers will surprise and delight you as Alexandra Horowitz, a cognitive scientist, explains how dogs perceive their daily world, each other, and that other quirky animal, the human. I am really into dog training. I'm really into animal psychology. I know that sounds kind of funny to some people, but it's a thing. Animal behavior, studying animal behavior, learning about the cognitive ability of animals, of dogs. We're trying to, well, my boyfriend and I are training our dog Ranger to be his service dog. And so I think a book like this, I've had it on my shelves for a while. I just have never gotten around to it, but I really want to prioritize it this year because, like I said, we are training Ranger to be a service dog. Even though this isn't a training book, it talks more about how their brains think. And since Ranger is a German Shepherd, he's incredibly intelligent. And I don't know, I think this will be really beneficial to me. Plus, it's just something that I'm gonna love because I love this type of fiction or type of nonfiction. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Book 21, I have The Science of Jurassic Park and the Lost World, or How to Build a Dinosaur by Rob DeSalle and David Lindley. You guys, this is literally what it says. It's just a nonfiction book about if Jurassic Park were to really happen in real life, how would it be done? And it talks about that. I think there's like some illustrations and stuff in here, but this is just brilliant. And look at how this cover, you guys, I adore this cover. And then underneath in the hardback, there's like a little mosquito. So yeah, I had this on my list of books I wanted to read in like August. I think it was on my TBR. Unfortunately, did not get around to it, but it's like, I'm so excited. So I actually have a TBR game, if you guys are interested, I'll link it, that is literally inspired by Jurassic Park and The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 and, you know, all of that stuff. So this one is just your Jurassic Park and Lost World information, but I'm so excited to read this. Like, I am so excited to read this. I'm a science nerd, like I'm a biology nerd, I'm a dinosaur nerd, so like right up my alley. I'm a Jurassic Park nerd. Yes. The next book, book 22, I'm actually really excited that I have this. I won this in a Goodreads giveaway and I was really excited when I got it. And that is A Billion Years, My Escape from a Life in the Highest Ranks of Scientology by Mike Render. So those of you who maybe are new here, I'm a Christian, but I do really enjoy learning about other religions. Not in like I want to become, change my religion, but just it's interesting to me, especially cults. And y'all, Scientology, it's a cult. Yeah, if y'all haven't watched, what's it called? I can't remember the name of the TV show, but it was done by Leah Remini. She was from the TV show Kings and Queens. She basically is someone who got out of Scientology and is exposing it for what it is. And it's absolutely crazy. I'm really interested in true crime. I love cults. I don't love cults. Like I want, I love learning about them. And yeah, this, like I said, it's about a guy who was super high up in the Scientology world. One of the highest ranking defectors from Scientology exposes the secret inner workings of powerful organization in this remarkable memoir. So yeah, it's his story, and I'm really excited to read this. I watched the TV show, is it called Escaping Scientology? I think, with Leah Remini, however you pronounce her name. It's great. If you guys have ever been curious about it, this religion, or this religion. Sorry. I have issues with it. Go watch that TV show. It's mind-boggling. And I won this in a Goodreads giveaway, and so I was like, yeah, I totally have to read it this year. I totally have to read it. Book 23. The 23rd book that I want to read in 2023 is this one. Even though it's the last one I'm telling you about, is probably the #1 book that I want to read this year. So, and that is Bite Me: How Lyme Disease Stole My Childhood, Made Me Crazy, and Almost Killed Me by Ali Hilfiger, forward by Tommy Hilfiger. This is the memoir of Ali Hilfiger, who is Tommy Hilfiger's daughter, like the famous fashion designer. It's his daughter, and it's literally what it says. It's just her memoir dealing with Lyme disease, how she got diagnosed, basically how she was literally in a mental institution, in a psych ward, because they didn't know what was wrong with her until she got diagnosed with Lyme disease. Like I said earlier, I have it, and it has majorly disrupted my life in ways that y'all don't even know. I need to read this book. I did read like the first chapter. Oh my gosh, the dust jacket is totally like on upside down. Okay, let's fix that. There we go, fixed. So yeah, I did read like not the first chapter, but like I guess the intro or the foreword. I think I did actually read the foreword the preference and chapter 1 maybe. But anyways, it's another one that I'm gonna have to really sit down and sit with and annotate and really take my time to read it, because it's going to be so, I mean, like the first, already I read a couple pages and I was already like emotional, because it's going to be so hard-hitting to me, because it's, you know, her lived experience, but it's very similar to mine and many millions of people who do have Lyme and chronic Lyme and go undiagnosed for years because of unfortunate medical issues. But yes, this book, y'all, it's just, like I said, probably the one book that I need to read. I read none of these other books this year. I have to read this one. Like, I have to, because it's gonna, I just know that it's gonna mean a lot to me. So yeah, that's the book. Okay, you guys, there you go. There you have it. There was 23 books that I need to read in 2023. I would love to know if you have read any of these books, or if any of them are on your radar. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Are you interested before? Are you interested now? Do you want to buddy read with me? I would love to. And one of my goals this year is to buddy read with people. So if there's any books in here that I talked about that you want to buddy read with me, please let me know. And that would also like make me actually need to read them this year. So I would love that. Anyways, you guys, like I said at the beginning, if you could please give this video a thumbs up. If you could please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, it would really help me out. It would really mean a lot, as I'm really trying to grow. Really. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Yeah, I don't know what else to say besides the fact that those are the 23 books that I need to read this year. So wish me luck. Hopefully I can do it. I know I'm reading one book, at least one book this month, so we'll see if I can get the whole 23 in during this year. It is currently February 7th, so I have almost the whole year left to go, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, let me know any of your thoughts. Leave me comments down below, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye, guys.